In this video, we're going to create a chart. We're going to talk about selecting data for the chart. We're going to create a nice column chart. We're going to use some recommended charts, and we're going to modify the chart, make it look better. And we're going to create these things called spark lines. Okay, here's our spreadsheet so far. It looks pretty good. A very nice looking table. We use the styles to format the text and the numbers to look really nice, and it looks pretty good. But the best way to present this data to your boss is to use a chart. Charts are much easier for people to understand. Again, we like to look at pictures. We can understand pictures a lot easier than we can just a bunch of numbers like this. So let's create a chart. First thing we have to do is select the data that we're going to use for the chart. And what we'll do is we'll go up here in cell A3, click in the middle of A3, drag across to the right, and then down here, okay? Now notice we did not include the totals. We don't include the totals, either the total column or the total row. We just included the details. And when you do a chart, you want to do either one or the other. Do the details or do the totals, but not both. Why? There's two reasons why you don't want to do that. Number one is that the data here, April, say for example, the 68,000 is included here, and it's also included in the total. So it's going, if you included both, it would appear twice. It's a little redundant. Second reason is that the totals, the numbers in the totals column are so much bigger than the other numbers that they're going to swap it, and you won't get the benefit of seeing the differences between the details. So do either the details for the chart or do the totals, but not both. Okay, so we just selected the details for this particular chart, and we have two dimensions here. We have rows and columns, and we don't have too much data. The best kind of chart for this particular thing where we have rows and columns and we don't have too much data is a column chart, okay? Basically a clustered column chart. And to insert a chart, all you need to do is go up to the Insert tab, and right there, there's a bunch of charts. Right here's our column chart right here, and we can just click on this. And you can see there's our column charts and there's bar charts. Bar charts are just like column charts, except they're rotated 90 degrees and they go across from left to right. Same exact thing, right? And if you have a choice now, two-dimensional or three-dimensional. I like the three-dimensional charts. They look more interesting. And if I have to have a choice, I'll always do the three-dimensional charts. And we're going to do a clustered column, because clustered, we can have different dimensions here. We have the rows and columns, so the cluster would be able to show both of those. And if you just rest your pointer on this first icon here in 3D column, you can see, you get a little preview of what it's going to look like, which is pretty good, pretty good. You know, if we go to a 2D, it's not so, it's okay. It's okay, but 3D is a little better. And if you go down here to look at the bar charts, you can see what it looks like there. Again, it's just turned over 90 degrees and looks okay like that. I use bar charts basically for when they have labels that are very long and they don't fit into a column chart too well. So they would work better there. But anyway, I'm going to go up here and click on the 3D clustered column there to create that. And it comes in like this, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good like that. Very nice. Okay, good. Well, nice. Okay, but actually, what the homework wants you to do is to use the recommended chart. So I'm just going to hit the delete key, and it goes away. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do it again here. I got the data selected, okay, from A3 down to D7, and I'm going to do the way the book wants to do it, which is to use the recommended charts. Now, I don't recommend using the recommended charts, but the book does. And the book is assigned the homework, so let's do it that way. So we'll go up here, click on Insert, and we'll go to Recommended Charts. Okay, Recommended Charts. They're not my favorites, but the book seems to like them. So we're going to use the fifth one down. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here. Click on this one right here. And yeah, it's a two-dimensional column. Clustered column chart. Okay, not my favorite, but anyway, that's the book. That's what the book wants. So we'll go click OK. There it is. Okay, all right, pretty nice. Now, one thing you can do here, when you have a chart selected, we have two new tabs at the top here. We've got Chart Design tab and the Format tab. And there's a lot of buttons here we can play with to change the way this chart looks. One of the most important ones is this one right here, Switch Row and Column. If we click it, Watch what happens. Look at that, okay? If we go back, here it goes there. Now, in this way, it looks like it has the months here along the horizontal or the x-axis. The horizontal axis is the x-axis. And usually, yes, you do want to put date information along the horizontal axis. This thing down here is the legend. This shows you what colors apply to what particular categories. Okay, so you have exercise bikes, so the orange is going to be elliptical machines, the gray is treadmills. This is the legend that tells you which color goes for which particular product. Over on the left side, we have the value axis or the y-axis, and it gives you the values, okay, how much sales are there for each product and for each month. Right now, we can also go up here and click on switch row and column, and it shows a different thing. Here we have the products, and then we have the months in the colors. Now, which is better? It's up to you, okay? It depends on what story you're trying to tell your boss. Whether you're comparing the products within each product, how they compare for each month, or you're comparing each product against each other in each particular month. It's your choice how you want to do this. All right, so we'll leave this as is for now, okay? It looks pretty nice having the months along the horizontal line. That's pretty standard stuff. Well, so we'll do that, and then we'll take a look at the controls that we have here. Now, you might have noticed here up in the upper right corner, we've got 3 buttons here to modify the way our chart looks. If we click on that first one, that's the chart elements, and we can use that to add or subtract elements from our chart. Things like axis titles, okay? Axis titles which, describe what each of the axis is about, okay? And we have data labels. You can put labels on all the individual data markers and error bars and things like that. If you want to get rid of the legend, you can just uncheck that, but we like the legend. It works pretty nice. So you can add or subtract things here from this first button. The second button is styles. There's a bunch of different styles that you can choose, and if you just rest your pointer on the particular one, you can choose that. Now, I don't use that too often. I do my own styling usually, but it's there if you want to take advantage of it. And the third one is for filtering your data. If you don't want to see all of the data, say, for example, it looks like our elliptical machines, the orange ones, are not doing too well. So maybe you want to leave those out. Just uncheck this, uncheck that square, and click apply, and boom, they're not there anymore. All right. Okay, but chances are your boss does want to see them, so I'm going to click in the checkbox there to put them back in, hit the apply button, put them back. Okay, but again, the important thing is the filter. You can filter your data even after you've created the chart by using that button there. Another way to change the way the chart looks, of course, is to go up to the tab here, the chart design tab up at the top. And this thing's not going away. I'm just going to click over here, make it go away. There we go. Click inside the chart again. When you click inside the chart, click in the chart area. This is the white space up near the corners, up here in the corners. Okay, that selects the whole chart, but not the individual components. Okay, you don't want to select you want to select the whole chart. So click in the chart area. A little screen tip pops up to tell you that. Okay, and then up here in the chart design, we have a couple of different options, changing the styles and things. And we might want to change the layout. If we click in the layout button here, you can see there's a bunch of different layouts. And if you just rest your pointer on the different things, you can see how it changes. Basically, this adds or subtracts different components to the chart. And I don't use this too often, but it's available there if you want it. And another thing you have is the styles. Okay, there's a bunch of different styles you could choose. Lots of different styles. If we could just rest your pointer in any of the different boxes, you can see it. And if we click on the More button here, click on that More button, you can see there's other styles you can choose from there. And again, I don't use that too often. Okay, and the book says to use chart style number 6. There we go, that looks nice. And now we have a nice bold title here, but that doesn't look good as a title. Let's put the actual title in there. To do that, all you do is click where it says chart title and just start typing. I'm going to type second quarter cardio sales. Okay, then hit the enter key. Look at that. That's much nicer. And another thing we can do with our chart is change the colors. There's a nice little button up here in the chart design tab called change colors. Click on that, and there's a bunch of different palettes, different arrangements of colors. And the third one here looks pretty nice. We'll click on that. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Now, let's change the position of our chart. It's kind of blocking our table. So let's move it a little bit. To move it, put your pointer in the chart area, okay? In the chart area. Again, that's up near the corners and the white space there. Just grab this and just drag with the left mouse button and drag it down. I'm going to put it down here and so that the upper left corner is in the upper left corner of cell A10. All right, and then I'm going to widen it. I'm going to grab this sizing handle here, bring it across like so, so it fills out to column F. All right, if I scroll down, you can see, oh, it's pretty nice. I can zoom out. Let me zoom out so you can see the whole thing. Okay, and ooh, we got a little problem here. Look at this, look at this. When you see this, when you see a bunch of hashtags or think different pound signs, however you call them, okay, if you see a bunch of those, what that means is that the cell is too small to represent the number that's inside it. So Excel tells us by putting those number signs there. What we can do is just widen the column, okay? The easy way to widen that column is just put your pointer between B and C and just double click. That will automatically widen it to the widest thing in that column. And if we just double click it, yeah, it just widens it up a little bit so we can actually see the numbers. Same thing between C and D, and between D and E, and between E and F. Look at that, much better. It's always better when you can actually see the numbers. Okay, pretty nice. All right, now you've probably been wondering about these cells right here, why they are blank. All right, so let's take a look at that. Let's fix it in there. I'm going to zoom back in. Nice and big, 150%. Okay, good. And I want to put some numbers in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put another type of chart. It's a very small, tiny chart called a spark line. All right, and what we're going to do first is select the data that we want to put there. Now this time, when we created the first chart, we selected the labels and the data. We selected the labels and the data. For the spark lines, we just select the data. So I'm just going to select the data right here, okay? And again, not the totals, just the details, not the totals. So I select the data there, basically from B4 down to D7. Right? And I want to put them right over here. And I'll just go up here and I'll go Insert, click on Insert. And over here is a group called Spark Lines. And there are three types. There's the line and the column and this thing called win loss. The line and column win loss. Win loss I've never actually used. Okay, line and column comes in more handy. Line is as you can see, it's better looking than column. So let's do that. We'll click on the line button. All right, and it says, okay, where's your data? Well, it's already selected, B4 through D7. Okay, see that? Let me just zoom in there so you can see that. It's pretty tiny. Okay, there it is, B4 through D7. And our location range, let me just move this a little bit aware. Okay, the location range is where the spark lines are actually going to go. Well, they're going to go right here. Okay, I'm going to click on this one here, which is F4 down through F7. Okay, F4 down to F7. And it puts those dollar signs in there, but don't worry about that. We'll talk about that in the future lesson. Okay, so it's F4 through F7. That's all we need to do. Then we click on the OK button. Click on the OK button and watch what happens. Look at that. There we go. We get little charts. The charts actually inside the cells. Charts inside the cells. And you can see for the first product there, it's going up pretty good. For the second one, it went down and it stayed steady. And by the third and fourth, both of those went up. It's really good. So it gives you little tiny charts inside the cells. And it's a nice, give you a little idea what's going on. Okay, a regular chart is always nice too, but you can use these spark lines to add a little bit more details here. Well, I'm going to zoom out. And let me zoom out a little bit more so you see it more. And let me zoom back in so you see it. There we go. Okay, it looks pretty nice. Looks pretty nice. Okay, good. All right, so just to review here, okay, chart tips, basically, you want to select either the details or the totals, but not both. The x-axis is the horizontal axis. The y-axis is the vertical. The way to remember that is y is a more vertical letter, so it's the vertical axis. And the legend things either at the bottom or on the side, it identifies what the colors mean. Okay, 3D cluster column chart looks like this. It's real nice. And basically, you want to show it with the dates usually along the x-axis. And the colorful chart. Okay, once we applied the colorful chart, it looks very nice there. And there are many different color schemes you could use. Spark lines look like this. Okay, basically just gives you little charts inside cells. And it's like tiny little charts. And as you saw, they're pretty easy to create. The column charts, column spark lines, okay, look like that. They're not as easy. I don't find them as easy to see as the lines, but they work pretty well too. So you have a choice between those two. Okay, next we're going to do some final touches and then do a review.